Well, that's just a $4.6 billion decision. You don't do that every day, do you?
No, we don't. We do approve very large capital budgets in that range, but this, of course, is by far the largest public works project in the history of Alberta. It is also the largest investment in public transit in the history of Alberta. And, reflecting on it, we have managed to secure more public transit funding from the federal government than ever. And I'm confident we'll be able to find that amount from the provincial government as well. This is a really big deal. And while it is disappointing to some people who wanted to see even more, I am reminded that it is by far the largest investment in public transit in our history. And when we combine that with the 4 BRTs, bus rapid transit lines, that are also being built, it means tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Calgarians will have far more mobility options to get around the city much more conveniently on transit. So this is a very, very good day.
Is this the decision we expected to make today?
If you're really interested in the sausage making of this, I had suggested to administration that we just come with a motion to talk about it, to receive it for information, and let council make the actual decision a month from now. And enough council members said to me, you know what, we have the information we need, we have the questions answered, we'll get more questions answered in public, we see no point in delaying. Let's just go ahead and do the approval today. I was surprised that that was the intention that council wanted, but I follow council's will, so I helped them craft a recommendation, and that is what you saw passed very handily today.
So in terms of the people in the far southeast, like the Mackenzie towns and places further south, and the people who live north of 16th, how do you think that this is going to play over time? I mean, construction doesn't start, tomorrow or next year, but there are a lot of people that are unhappy. So how do you think this is going to play out over time?
The most important thing to remember is we'll start with the people in the north. For the people in the north, because of the time of construction to get there, we would not have seen this line getting to Highland Park or getting to North Point really much before 2028 or 2029. And I am hopeful that we'll be able, and future councils will be able to secure the funding to just keep building after 2026, so they will actually get the line roughly at the same time they were going to get it anyway. In the southeast, that is a different question, because we might have been able to go a little bit further than Shepherd, and we may still be able to do so. However, those who take transit in the far southeast will still see a much improved system. Rather than the 302 wending through, they'll do a quick connection at Shepherd Station and then make their way downtown. So they'll still see big improvements. And the other thing that I asked today is for a real examples of things we can do to improve the transit experience for the BRT riders today. So can we get queue jumping, better transit signalization, curb cuts where needed, just to make the bus go a little bit faster, to at least get people some improvements while we're doing this massive construction project.
Getting to Mackenzie Town, that's a $300 million touch. How do you think that's going to happen? Is it through savings in the construction process? Or?
Well, I hope so. I hope that we will be able to extend a little bit further past Shepherd. For now, what we've decided is to take it to Shepherd. And again, people in those neighborhoods, in Prestwick and Mackenzie, really all the way Auburn Bay, Mahogany, Seton, will be able to have a quicker trip with a quick connection at Shepherd Station rather than take the 302 all the way downtown.
The province still hasn't committed money. Do you think today's decision will help them with their decisions?
Yes, very much so. A couple of the members of council were critical that the province hasn't yet committed. I'm not critical of them. They've been very clear on what their process has been, and they wanted us to complete our work and show them exactly what they were getting for what amount of money, and then ask them for the money. So we're going to do that right away. I'll sign a letter on that tomorrow probably, and get that to the province, and they will then continue their deliberations, and I will push hard for them to include the financing costs, I should say, and also to go on a compressed timeline similar to the timeline of the federal government, or even shorter.
And on the financing costs, we saw that $56 million number today per year for 30 years just for phase one. Does that concern you?
Oh, of course that concerns me. I mean, we've known that those numbers would be really high for a really long time. That is the worst possible case. And in fact, it will be less than that because the federal government is committed to the money over a shorter period of time. So If the province also commits over a shorter period of time, then that bite will be considerably less for the city. But getting this financing question right is really important, and I hope that the feds and the province will not assume that the city is picking up the whole financing cost, because then the city cost of the project zooms to about 50%, and that doesn't happen. So we need the feds and the province to play on that game as well.
Do you think the feds will?
I hope that the feds will, once we make the case to them for what we're talking about, and I'm very confident that the province will work with us on this as well.
So this vote literally means the city can send that letter to the premier or to the
I am
transportation
sure that
minister?
letter is sitting on someone's computer right now, getting edited with the correct words of our recommendation, and we'll get that out as soon as possible.